Hello. I'm Bretton, one of our MCAT tutors here at Inspire Advantage, where we help students get accepted into medical school and other professional programs. And welcome back to another episode of MCAT Bites. Today, we're zooming in on stimulants, one of the pivotal topics in pharmacology for your MCAT. We'll cover the types you need to know, their mechanisms, therapeutic uses, and the fine line between medication and misuse. This will help you get a bunch more points on both biochem, chem phys, and very heavily the psych-soc part of the exam. Psych-soc loves to talk about different drugs. So let's zoom into stimulants, which broadly speaking can be categorized into three main types relevant for your MCAT studies. We've got amphetamines. This includes drugs like Adderall, methamphetamine, and dextroamphetamine, and dexedrine. These all end with amphetamine. Pretty easy to recognize. Then we have the methylphenidates. Examples are Ritalin and Concerta, which is an extended release methylphenidate. And then the super broad class that no one would use in the real world, but we will for the MCAT of other. And this includes things that the MCAT likes to talk about, such as modafinil, which is used for narcolepsy. And there's also a movie about it, fictional movie, that claimed modafinil made this person into a genius, which does not happen. But it acts slightly differently than regular amphetamines or methylphenidates, but is still considered a stimulant because it helps people feel more wakeful. Stimulants primarily work by increasing the activity of the central nervous system. They achieve this by enhancing the action of neurotransmitters, specifically dopamine and norepinephrine in the brain. Here's how, generally. Amphetamines work by releasing these neurotransmitters directly from storage sites in nerve cells, increasing their levels in the synaptic cleft and prolonging their effects. So we can see an example of that here, where DA is short for dopamine. It's in a vesicle, and a bunch of cellular things are going on you don't need to know, but dopamine pops out into the synaptic cleft and then can start doing more signaling. Methylphenidates are slightly different because they're focusing on blocking the reuptake of dopamine and norepinephrine, which will similarly, right, lead to an increase in the concentration of the neural synapse. You can see here, for example, with cocaine in red, will bind here, and it's going to prevent the reuptake of dopamine. So dopamine will keep bouncing around, keep signaling, hyper exciting the neurons, leading to more action potentials eventually, which if you want to learn about action potentials, check out one of our earlier videos. And then the other class of drugs have different mechanisms, such as increasing histamine levels, which can contribute to wakefulness, also affects dopamine and norepinephrine to a lesser extent. It's too broad for you to worry about, so just focus on either blocking reuptake of dopamine or causing more dopamine release. That's what you want to think about when you think about stimulants for the MCAT. So what are some therapeutic uses? The classic one is ADHD. Both amphetamines and methylphenidates are first-line treatments for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, helping improve focus and reduce impulsivity. Or for narcoleptics, they promote wakefulness in individuals with the sleep disorder. Or binge eating disorder. Certain amphetamines can decrease episodes of excessive eating. Or if you're really sleepy, it can be nice too. It's tough to get a stimulant prescription for sleepiness, so just take some caffeine. While stimulants offer substantial benefits for these conditions, the potential for misuse and addiction cannot be overlooked. The fine line lies in their mechanism. By increasing dopamine, they not only enhance focus, but can also produce euphoria, leading to non-medical use. As we navigate through the world of stimulants, it's crucial to understand the impact of mechanisms of illicit drugs like cocaine and methamphetamine, because both play significant roles in public health discussions and have distinct mechanisms of action that are important for you to recognize on the MCAT and as a future doctor. Starting with cocaine. It is a powerful stimulant derived from the coca plant. Unlike the medications discussed earlier, cocaine's primary mechanism is to block reuptake of dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin in the brain. This blockage results in an accumulation of these neurotransmitters, leading to increased stimulation of the postsynaptic neurons, euphoria, and increased energy. Cocaine's effects are immediate but short-lived, contributing to its high potential for addiction and abuse. Then methamphetamine, commonly known as meth, acts similarly by increasing the release of dopamine, but is more potent and has longer-lasting effects than cocaine. It also promotes the release of norepinephrine and serotonin to a lesser extent. Methamphetamine's ability to release high levels of dopamine rapidly in the reward regions of the brain produce a quick, intensely pleasurable rush or flash, leading to its strong addictive potential. The long-term use of methamphetamine can lead to devastating health consequences, including dental problems, skin sores, and increased risk of infectious disease. So what are the health impacts? Because sometimes the MCAT will ask you, On the psychos section, it'll be like, hey, person X has these symptoms. What stimulant or what drug are they likely misusing? So what are the health impacts? Well, both cocaine and methamphetamines have profound impacts on the cardiovascular system, including increasing the heart rate and blood pressure, which can lead to cardiovascular accidents, can also increase paranoia, or anything that turning on your sympathetic nervous system would do. There's studies relevant for the MCAT not only from a pharmacological standpoint, but also in understanding the broader implications of drug use on individual health and society. Questions may focus on their mechanisms of action, effects on the body, and the societal and health consequences of their abuse. Stimulants are a double-edged sword in medicine, invaluable for treating certain conditions, but fraught with the potentials for misuse. For your MCAT and future medical career, grasp not only their pharmacological actions, but also the ethical considerations in their prescription and the societal impacts for their misuse. As you prepare for the MCAT, remember pharmacology is not just about memorizing drug classes and mechanisms, but understanding their impact on human health and society. Stay tuned to MCAT Bytes for more insights that bridge the gap between science and patient care, while getting you way more points on the MCAT. So thank you so much for watching our video on stimulants, and I'll see you next time.